the 21st night of September. That's right. Almost September 21st. We're almost there. We will be this weekend, but we have a great action-packed show for you guys. The NFL, it's getting started. It's looking good. And then college football. Oh, baby. We are getting into conference play. And then the MLB season. We are less than 20 games away from the postseason October baseball. So that is going to be so much fun. Going to be talking all that and more than the final Woj bomb ever. So we talked all that, but before we get started, make sure to follow the podcast on any platform, any streaming service, literally anywhere you get your podcast at Burgers and Brats, and stay up to date with latest news on Twitter, Instagram, and hopefully you're watching live on YouTube and or millions.co at Burgers and Brats, and check out the podcast website, burgersbratspodcast.com. What a week in the NFL it was. We are going to start in the NFL. Week 2, it's in the books. And I already wish that football season never came. Broncos 0-2. Not great. It's not fun watching this Bo Nix, Sean Payton offense right now. I think Vance Joseph, get him off the defensive side. Let him call the offensive plays. I don't care anymore. We were too harsh on you, Vance Joseph. I am sorry. But, oh my gosh, Denver just looks awful. Put up 6 points against the Steelers last week. Could be worse. I guess we could be Panthers fans. I don't know. They benched their starting quarterback. Bryce Young gets benched this week, which I still think is a little unfair. Bryce Young has only finished 17 or 18 total NFL games. Daniel Jones is going to his 65th NFL game this week, and he got a huge contract. He's still playing football, but they gave up on Bryce Young, who is on the Carolina Panthers, who had Sam Darnold. He did not prosper there. Baker Mayfield, who's prospering right now with the Buccaneers, did not play great there. He was playing defensive line in practice. The Panthers organization is just a dumpster fire. Them and the Cleveland Browns. You can't expect to succeed and grow and be even just a solid player in Carolina. Once you escape from the hellhole that is, then you can be a lot better and play to your full potential that Bryce Young, I assume, can reach that a star he was at Alabama. I still think it's a little harsh. Not harsh, but I do think it's a little early that they set him. I know they did not play great, but I mean, there's no pieces, man. There's no pieces with this team. Just let him get the experience and maybe turn him into a trade value prospect then. And I mentioned it's bad for Carolina fans. They're used to it by now. But maybe this team is as well. The Dallas Cowboys. How about them boys? Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I overreacted last week and said, okay, this is the Cowboys' year. Why would I do that? Why would I say that? I don't know why I said that. I should have just looked at history and said, okay, they are going to underperform in the playoffs again. Now maybe they may underperform in the regular season. They lose 44-19 against the Saints. Now, granted, the Saints have looked phenomenal. They've put up, I believe, 92 points in the last 2 games. In their first 2 games, they put up 92 points. And the Cowboys have given up 92 points in their last 2 home games, including last year's playoff loss to the Packers. Man, you Cowboys fans going through it too. This NFL season, it's crazy. There's a few good teams, but everyone else. The Ravens 0-2. They lose to the Raiders this week. What is going on in the NFL right now? The Chiefs. I guess I got to say they're the best team. They get bailed out with the PI call, and the Bengals end up losing. So could have been a different story there. But Chiefs, number 1 team right now in the NFL. 49ers lose this past weekend to a Sam Darnold Vikings team. What is going on in the NFL? Other games. And like I said, Daniel Jones 0-2 now. Giants they lose to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. CJ Stroud, they get a win over the Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Bears do not look good. They only put up 13 points. But hey, These rookie quarterbacks, they're still learning. Give them time. These first, second-year quarterbacks, give them time still. They came to you for a reason. Your team sucks. That's why they came to you. So give them time to prosper in your offense. You guys are a dumpster fire. These guys are really top in their class. Let them work it out. It takes a few games. So that's just my thoughts on the NFL as we go week 2. Hey, record so far in NFL picks this year. 8-2. 8-2 in the NFL this year. 1-1 in my locks of the week. Some good teams that look. Cardinals look good as a 1-1 team. Texans look good, 2-0. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield look phenomenal, 2-0. Saints, like I mentioned, 2-0 look amazing as well. And the Bills look really good. Big win in Miami. So those are kind of some of the best teams in the NFL, and of course the Chiefs. So there's that. Let me know who's been looking the best and the worst in the NFL so far after 2 weeks of action. Let's go quickly into some picks this week. So let's start. Philadelphia at the Saints. That's going to be a great game. Philly choked away a Monday Night Football game. Saquon Barkley, catch the ball, dude. Catch the freaking ball. You're a running back, okay. You can't catch a little out route like that? My goodness. 1 p.m. on Fox. Saints, 2.5-point favorites in this one. I mean, the Saints and Derek Carr are revitalized. They look really, really good. Now, granted, it is Derek Carr. Things can happen. Things can fall apart for Derek Carr. It's bound to happen. That's his career. So, they have looked really good lately. Both quarterbacks, Eagles have a top 6 offense right now. Saints have a top 3 offense. So, both look really good, and both have a top 5 scoring offense in the league. It's 2 games. It's still really early. I'm not drawing too much conclusion from this. Got to play at least like 4 or 5 games before you really know your team. But these offenses look really good. Saints have a much better defense. You did play Carolina first week, so kind of mixes with that. But you did play the Cowboys and only held them to 13 points or so. So give you that. Philadelphia on the other side, giving up 400 yards per game. That is 30th in the league. This Philly team is just having a really good defense. So, gotta rely heavily on offense and Jalen Hurts and Saquon, DeVonta Smith, and A.J. Brown. I mean, like I said, the Saints scored 91 points in the last 2 games. 91 points for Derek Carr in 2 games. Whoever thought? Who would have thunk it? Not me. And like I said, it's Derek Carr. So, Alvin Kamara is still a dog. Why did I not take this guy in fantasy? Why did I not? This guy can still ball. He 4 touchdowns last week. 4 tutties. 4. 200 yards on 35 attempts on the year. That's 5.7 yards per carry. On the other side, Saquon is still a really good running back. Cost them a chance of being 2-0 last week, and this matchup is even more heavily regarded. But it's still going to be really, really fun, great football to watch. I'm really excited. It's 2 up and down with Philly and Nick Sirianni right now. The Saints you put up 91 points in 2 games, and it may just not be an outlier. So I'm going to roll with the Saints 31-26 against this very, very bad Philadelphia defense. So going with the Saints over Philly. Monday Night Football, we got 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Jaguars at Buffalo Bills. The Bills 5-point favorites in this one. Bills have looked really good, like I mentioned last week against Miami. Just dominated that one. And they've had a good extended break, 11-day break in between games for the Bills. So they are rested and ready to go again. And Buffalo's averaging 32 points per game compared to Jacksonville's 15 points per game, with T-Law only having 1 touchdown on the year. And ETN, he's only got 96 yards rushing on over 30 attempts, so has to be much more efficient there on the ground. And they have a 22nd overall offense. So expected Doug Peterson, T-Law to kind of get this Jaguar team moving a little quicker. They do have Brian Thomas, who is key on their offense with 6 receptions with 141 yards. That is 23.5 yards per catch for Brian. Thompson, or for Brian Thomas. So major key there. Got to stop him if you're Buffalo, and I think this team can. On the other side, Josh Allen still playing really good football without Gabe Davis, without Stephon Diggs. He's got 5 total touchdowns and 0 total turnovers on the year, and that is a big key for Josh Allen because he loves to turn the ball over. Leading quarterback in turnovers this in these last few seasons. So does have he's just playing really good football right now, and even without his top receivers from these last few years, he's also got a good running back with Cook, who's got 149 yards on 30 attempts with 2 tutties. So this offense still looking pretty good, but both are pretty even, honestly. Buffalo's just outgained Jacksonville by 4 total yards per game on the season. Like I said, it's early. Can't judge too much from this, but these teams are pretty even matchup. Buffalo just seems like the much better team, playing much better ball. Had a good win against Arizona, good win against Miami. Jacksonville, on the other hand, is 0-2 this season. So, and their 2 losses have been against the Dolphins and the Browns. So, I'm going to go with Buffalo. They just feel like a league above right now still. I'm going Buffalo 27-20 over Jacksonville. All right. Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We got Detroit at Arizona. This game is going to be really good as well. Expect fireworks, man. Detroit's 1-1 on the season. Both teams are 1-1. Both offenses look pretty decent. Winner gets to 2-1 and feel really great. Like I mentioned last week, the Lions, if they would have gone 2-0 playing 2 previous opponents in the playoffs, they would be feeling higher than Mount Everest right there. Arizona had a chance to win, should have won at Buffalo week 1. Finally got the offense involved. Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. Kyler Murray, K1. 4 total touchdowns, 0 interception, and he does have 11 attempts on the ground with 116 yards. And he's leading this offense with 34.5 points per game. This team is clicking under Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and James Conner. They look really good. Goff, on the other hand, he's 3rd in the league with 270 passing yards per game, but only 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions on the season. They've only averaging 21 points per game. Kind of thought they'd be really good after that win over the Rams in week 1. K1 and the Cardinals went out and obliterated the Rams last week, winning 41-10. So look at common opponent already. Cardinals, it is in their favor. But Detroit's a 3-point favorite in this game. Marvin Harrison Jr., like I said, got his due. 5 receptions, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week. Thank you. That's phenomenal because I have him on fantasy team. Thank you, Kyler, for throwing to him. Jameson Williams on Detroit. He's got 10 receptions for 200 yards. 20 yards of reception for Detroit. Got to stop him. So, going to be a great wide receiver battle out there. High-powered offenses. Kyler Murray, early MVP candidate? I think so. I can see that. And I think on the other end, I think it's more a bigger deal if Detroit loses this game because they have such high expectations and they go down 1-2 on the season. That is a much bigger blow than if Arizona did it because I think this Arizona team didn't have high expectations but can still be pretty good. Detroit, they've allowed 251 yards per game or yards per game through the air. So Kyler Murray expect to light them up offensively. Arizona's rush offense versus Detroit's rush defense, which is 4th in the league. K1, use your legs. I'm sure he will. And I've got Arizona winning this one 31-28 over Detroit. So upset pick there. Staying in the NFC West, we got 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sunday. San Francisco at the Los Angeles Rams. This game thought it'd be huge coming into it at the beginning of the season, just 3 weeks in. Not as big of a matchup anymore. Injury reserve. Chris McCaffrey's out. Deebo Samuel's out. Puka Nacua is out. Cooper Kupp are all out for this game. And the Rams are 0-2 on the season. Jordan Mason, though, has been stepping up in his in Christian McCaffrey's place in his absence. He's got 48 attempts for 247 yards. So San Francisco team has still looked decent. They did lose to Minnesota last week. Just a crazy 99-yard touchdown pass. Chalk that up. If that doesn't happen, San Francisco probably wins that football game. But it did happen. Purdy and Stafford, 550 yards total, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on the season. Los Angeles Rams only 15 points per game, and like I said, I mean they put up 20 against Detroit first week, and then put up 10 in a horrible loss to the Cardinals last week. So have not looked good, but hey, they are injured as well. It is the IR game. So just get through this week healthy. San Francisco is still better overall, regardless, and with the 4th overall offense versus the 32nd overall defense in the Rams. Yeah, that's right. The Rams had the worst defense in the league. So give me San Francisco 24-16 in this one. And then finally, game of the week, 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. A lot of great late afternoon games this week, this Sunday. Baltimore at Dallas. That's right. This is going to be really good, and I can't wait to hear the overreactions on Monday. I mean, Baltimore 0-2, Dallas 1-1. They get them at home. They get Baltimore at home. Both looked horrendous last week. Ravens 9.5-point favorites last week, end up losing to the Raiders. Dallas shellacked by the Saints. You do not want to be the loser of this game. You do not. You are going to get wrecked on Monday if you are. Baltimore has the #1 offense in the league right now. #1 offense. I mean, they were a toe tap away from going to overtime, maybe beating the defending champs in week 1. They are unfamiliar territory, though. They have the 32nd defense against the pass. Dak Prescott's still a really good quarterback. And they got CeeDee Lamb on that side. So expect him to carve up this defense as well. And this Baltimore defense is first against the rush. Doesn't matter going against Zeke and this Cowboys because Dallas is not good in the ground game. So that does not matter. But Dak Prescott has to have a phenomenal game. Cannot turn the ball over. Don't think he'll have more than one for sure against this Baltimore defense. CeeDee's only got 9 catches on the year, 1 touchdown. Got to improve that. Give CeeDee Lamb the ball more. You paid him for a reason. Give him the ball. And Lamar and Dak, only 2 touchdowns each on the season so far. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but still only 2 touchdowns. Both have not looked good as MVP caliber so far this season. But you can turn around with the talent on both of these teams. Of course, Lamar is the leading rusher for the Ravens. Let Derrick Henry run the ball more. Lamar's got 21 attempts for 167 yards. Lamar can run the football, yes. Let him throw the football as well. So, got to find the open guys if there are any. Get the ball to Mark Andrews, man. Give it to him. Where's Andrews at? Use your run game if you need to, but let Derrick Henry run the ball as well. Dallas defense does miss Dan Quinn right now, at least. Mike Zimmer has not been playing, not calling up a great scheme for them. Dak should have an incredible day. Like I said, Dallas, 92 points allowed in the last 2 games. 92 points allowed in the last 2 home games. Not great. This is a coin flip game. I can go back and forth on either team. I think Baltimore, they need this win more than Dallas. But give me Baltimore 28-26 this week. And then lock of the week, I'm going Cardinals +3 versus the Detroit Lions. Give me the Cardinals outright win over the Lions this week. And like I said, 8-2 in the NFL so far. So those are my picks for the week. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on those. And let me know. Doing pretty good so far. All right, let's talk. Let's go into On This Day in History, sponsored by Hefner Eye Care. Hefner Eye Care located in Oklahoma City, or you can check them out on the web at hefnereyecare.com. Go to those glasses today. Go get to that annual eye exam. You need it. All right, 1994. Friends, the TV sitcom debuts on NBC. Wow, 20 years ago. No, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, Friends debuted. It's a 30-year anniversary. RIP Matt Perry. 1692, the last people hanged for witchcraft. Total of 8 were hanged in the U.S. and 19 hanged overall, with 6 other deaths. So these are that last hanging in the Salem witch trials. 1973. A lot of y'all might know this one. Sports related. On the court with a racket. 1973. Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes tennis match. And then happy birthday, H.G. Wells, Bill Murray, and Stephen King. That's on this day in history. Sponsored by Hefner Eye Care. Check them out in Oklahoma City or on the web at hefnereyecare.com with their virtual try-on. Try on from the comfort of your own couch. All right, college football, man. We're in week 4, and we are in conference play. We have made it. We are here, baby. Week 3, knew it wasn't going to be great. Really wasn't. There was a little surprise of Georgia playing close with Kentucky. Kentucky should have won that game. You can't punt the ball. That's a defensive-minded coach, Mark Stoops, punting the ball in plus territory with only 3 minutes left. You against the number 1 team at home. You have to go for it, man, because they're going to get it. They're going to score. Anyway, you're not stopping them. It's Georgia. They're going to pull it out at the end. So Georgia should have lost that game, but they survive on the road in Lexington. And right now, Texas is the best team in the country. No doubt. No doubt in my mind, Texas is the best team. There are only 3, maybe 4 teams now. I think Alabama definitely improved in my opinion. So maybe I can go. I can probably go 5 teams, 5 or 6, 5. We'll go 5 teams. So, that's it. There's really not many great teams in college football right now. Quinn Ewers is out for a few weeks. Arch Manning is taking his place. They don't play anybody for another week, so they get a cupcake opponent. And by the looks of Arch Manning touching the football, his first 3 touches going for touchdowns, I'd say they're in good hands. So I think that's fine. Ole Miss looks really good. Alabama looks really good. Georgia is still a top team in my opinion. And then I still don't know about Ohio State. They had a bye week. Still don't know about them. But those are kind of the top teams in the country. Maybe Tennessee after this week. So be picking that game in a second. Let's pick this week in action. Friday night, we got another great game. We have another ranked matchup on a Friday night this week. Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Number 24, Illinois versus number 22, Nebraska. Nebraska, a 7.5 point favorite in this one. Dylan Raiola, or Patrick Mahomes Jr., has looked really good so far for these Cornhuskers, revitalized this program. But hey, Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier is just as good for Illinois. He looked really good as well, pretty even statistically. Both have good running game attacks for these programs. Pat Bryant for Illinois, the wide receiver, 15 receptions, 235 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So Nebraska is kind of still in unfamiliar territory in the last decade of having a major ranked opponent coming in and getting the job done of winning. This is their first time since 2003. Nebraska has hosted a ranked matchup. First time since 2013 that they have hosted a ranked matchup. So it's been over a decade since they've done this. So we'll see how they play. Matt Rule is a phenomenal coach, in my opinion. I think he'll have his boys ready. Dylan Raiola is still a freshman quarterback, so don't know what he's going to be thinking. They did look good against Colorado. That was a big matchup. Big-time names coming in. Looked good there. Both are pretty even all around. I think this spread is really misleading. If you look at this statistically, and we're 4 weeks in now, or 3 weeks in of games, I think you can kind of put the pieces together and realize what your team is. And I think both these teams are really fairly even squared up. So spread a little misleading in my part, in my opinion. Both are even with their rush and pass attacks. Both average the same amount in rush and pass, so they distribute evenly on their sides of the ball. And this Nebraska team, I mean, it held Colorado to 10 points, this high-powered offense to 10. And Dowdwell and Fegan, solid running backs for both teams, like I said. And both quarterbacks still really young. And you have to, and you expect kind of these quarterbacks who take care of the ball, which they have all season. But it's going to be a one-possession game. So which quarterback can clutch up in the final moments, because they haven't had to experience that. This is the biggest matchups they're going to have so far. So it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a close one. I could see it being high scoring, could be low scoring, but I think it's going to be close no matter what. I've got Nebraska winning, though. The Go Big Red coming back 24-23 over the Illini. So give me Nebraska in their first home ranked matchup in over a decade. Crazy stuff. Is Nebraska back? Maybe. All right. 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox on Saturday. Number 12, Utah heads to number 14, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, 2.5-point favorite in this one. The Utah Utes' first ever Big 12 conference play. Cam Rising should be good to go for this game. Had to let his stitches heal last week, so should be ready to go in his hand. Big names on these. The other side is Ollie Gordon, who has been underperforming this season. Don't really know if it's the teams. They haven't played great teams yet, so not like they're got elite prospects on the other side able to stop Ollie. But he's only got 194 yards on 3 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. And he was under 50 yards for the last 2 games. The last 2 games he ran for under 50 yards total. So has been underperforming to where we thought he'd be this season. Utah solid on defense. Unlike Oklahoma State, who ranks 125th nationally on the defense side of the ball, giving up 462 yards per game, and 129th in their pass defense, giving up 305 passing yards per game. And Cam Rising, Billy Bowman, these guys are going to sling it both in their 30th year playing in college football. Both quarterbacks have a combined age of 49 years. That is 5 years older than the combined ages of Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson in the NFL. These dudes need to find a job. J-O-B, word of the day. Job. Go find one. Cam Rising, in 6 quarters so far this season, 18 of 29, 346 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So it did look good. Did have that injury, though, so see how he plays coming off of that. Alan Bowman will hit 1,000 passing yards after this game, so he's been playing well. Also, Utah running back Micah Bernard, 274 yards on the ground. That's 6.7 yards per carry. So, I mean, this Utah team is loaded on both sides. Oklahoma State, though, 7-0 in their last 7 ranked home games, averaging 32 points per game, but they have won 5 of those 7 by 1 score or less. So they've won the games, but they've been close. And this Utah team is ready to play. Cam's expected to play. Ollie Gordon's got to find your footing against a decent rush attack, but there's still holes in that front 7. And it has been 79 years since these last 2 teams met. And these are 2 of the top 3 teams I expect in the Big 12. So winner is set for the conference championship game. I think Utah is better all around in this game. So use the run game, use Cam Rising. I think Utah gets the win on the road, 31-27 over Oklahoma State. All right, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS, Big Ten matchup. Number 11 USC at number 18 Michigan. Michigan, a 5.5-point home dog. They are a dog. Now, this game is not as big as we thought it'd be going into the season. 4 weeks in, thought this would be a top 10 matchup. No, It's not. Michigan did make a quarterback change this week. Alex Orji will get the start. USC's off an early bye week as well, so they are rested. They've been game planning for this for 2 weeks now. Michigan underperforming. They were embarrassed 2 weeks ago at home by Texas, so I'll give them that. But they just have not looked good offensively at all this season. You expect that. You lose Harbaugh, you lose JJ, you lose Corm, you lose pretty much the entire team, the identity of your team the last few years. It's going to happen. And on the other side, USC, they're not known for their defense. They've allowed 34 points per game in 2023. They are down to 10 points per game so far in 2024. And they have held their opponents to 29% on third down. Now, yes, they've only played 2 games. Can't take much from that. Too early is to tell on that. But this Michigan team, not great offensively, should help the numbers as well. Michigan, not good on offense. 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions there. Just slow it down, Michigan. Slow it down. Let your new quarterback run the ball as well. Run the ball. Don't give the ball to USC's hand, Miller Moss's hand, Lincoln Riley's offensive play calling hands. Khalil Mullings, running back, 7.5 yards per carry on 36 rushes for Michigan. And like I said, Miller Moss, 670 yards on the season, but only 2 touchdowns. They've been game planning this for 2 weeks. I think it's kind of a low-scoring game, but USC is just more well-rounded in this aspect. And it's going to be a fun game. They last met in the 2007 Rose Bowl, so it's going to be a fun game to watch, I think. Maybe a little closer, but I think USC gets to win 28-18. Just no offense for Michigan. And, hey, maybe USC has a defense. All right, prime time, college game day. Back to Norman, Oklahoma. 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Number 6, Tennessee, heads to number 15, Oklahoma. OU a 7-point dog at home in this one. The first SEC game for OU is going to be a great one. Game day is in attendance for this. The 41st OU game college game day has come to, 4th all time. Last time in Norman was 2020, but they were at OU Texas last year. OU is 6-2 with college game day at home, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be an electric atmosphere under the lights. SEC, Tennessee sort program as well. When these two teams meet up, it is always fun. I was there at Neyland Stadium with Baker Mayfield in 2015. That was incredible. That place, absolutely awesome on the river, and just a stadium in history, and just overtime game, of course, and the comeback. But this one's going to be just as fun. And we get to watch Josh Heupel return to his alma mater, Oklahoma, the team he won a national championship for in 2000 and was the OC for, or was the quarterback coach in 2006, hired in 2006, and then the offense coordinator from 2010 to 2014 until he was let go. But now he's at Tennessee, and he is making a huge name for himself. One of the best coaches in college football, a quarterback whisperer, offensive whisperer. They've looked really, really good. And I mean, Nico, I'm going to butcher this. I keep hearing it. I keep forgetting it. Iamaleava. I think that was close. I mean, he's got 700 yards on the year already, 6 total touchdowns, and they have the second total offense in the country with 639 yards. They had 65 points at halftime last week. Halftime. I know it was against Kent State. They didn't play anybody. They played Chattanooga. NC State wasn't as good. But that's a lot of points you're putting up. They are first in the country with 63.7 points per game. And that's 3 weeks in. That's a lot of points. This OU side, that's an OU offense. No, OU's playing defense now. Oklahoma's better on defense than offense. The Jackson Arnold has not been comfortable yet, but that is because this Oklahoma offensive line is the worst graded Power 4 offensive line in the country. Out of all the conferences, Oklahoma has the worst offensive line in the country, and don't think it's going to get much better. Still have the offensive lineman out. They may have a few more key pieces back at wide receiver, but OU, the injury bug, they were snake bit early, and they are still snake bit. So they're getting a little antidote, but still won't have everyone back for this game. Luckily, their defense line is still really solid in their front seven because Tennessee's running back Sampson, 357 yards with 9 touchdowns already. 9 touchdowns. We're 3 weeks in. So, Tennessee, also a top 5 team defensively. Don't know how much that. I suspect that to lighten up a little bit, kind of expose some holes in that because of the opponents they played. I still think they're really good, but they have not played pretty much anyone yet, so I expect that to kind of be flawed out there. Jackson Arnold, got to use your legs if you're Oklahoma in this one. 36 attempts, 159 yards already as the redshirt freshman. And I think the offense play calling has to open up with Seth Luttrell. It has been very vanilla, very bland, and they said, hey, we're just waiting. We're waiting to use it. It looked pretty decent against Tulane last week, which is still a really good ball team. They're going to be competing in their conference, but offense just has to look better. Defense looks really good. Defense line, safeties, and corners should get a little held back, but there's still holes there. Got to get some turnovers, get some pressure on Nico, and disturb the redshirt freshman as well. He's been playing great, but hasn't had to face too much pressure. This is his first road start in a hostile environment. OU secondary might get eaten this weekend. Got to force some turnovers, and you're going to be in a solid shape. I do think it's going to be a little closer than these people think. I mean, it's OU. It's impossible. It's super hard to win in Norman. And Sooner Magic, OU plays phenomenal when they're underdogs. There's just so much doubt against Brent Venables, who can hype this team up. And this Oklahoma team, who now has a lot of experience and is ready to fight in the SEC. I think both quarterbacks, you're going to learn a lot about both quarterbacks, and they are going to grow immensely after this game. Both these quarterbacks, this will go so far into their career. But for my pick, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be a really fun game. It's going to be super close, really fun. I think it comes down to at least the last few possessions, definitely in the fourth quarter. But I've got Tennessee winning 31-27 over Oklahoma. Going to be a great electric game day in Norman. So we'll be in Norman for that all day, starting on game day. Catch me on game day. Just kidding, I wish. But going to be fun. Going to be a great week 4 action in college football. We finally get a phenomenal week of great games. And there's other games that aren't ranked that we are going to be able to watch. So stay tuned for that. Let me know your picks in college football. And then some other sports headlines real quick. Adrian Wojnarowski retires from ESPN to become the GM for his alma mater, St. Bonaventure men's basketball. He is leaving ESPN. No more Woj bombs anymore. So that is sad to see. And ESPN was actually going to pay him $21 million over the next 3 years. So he leaves a little money on the table, but he's going to go do what he loves. Yankees and Brewers clinch postseason berth the other night. So great to see the Yankees back in the postseason. Judge, Soto playing phenomenal. Pair teammates who hit 40 home runs this season. And then Shohei Ohtani breaking records over here. Instead of just the first ever to go 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases in a season, he decided to go 51 home runs, 51 stolen bases in a season in the same night. So phenomenal athlete in Shohei, and he's just a DH. He starts pitching next year again. So he went 6 for 6, 4 runs, 3 home runs, and 10 RBIs and 2 stolen bases on Thursday night. So what an athlete. What an athlete. We have not seen that since Babe Ruth. All right, that's some of the other sports headlines. MLB season is wrapping up. So let me know if your team's getting close to the playoffs and who you got winning the World Series. All right, let's move into my final segment, who I'm sharing my burger and brat with. Sharing my burger and brat with you green thumbs out there, for especially you gardeners. So gardening. I got some hacks to help you garden for it to thrive. Now, I know it's getting winter, but hey, if you got an indoor garden, this will help as well. But may have to wait till the spring to start this. A poll commissioned by Sabrina Carmona, the VP at game developer behind Farm Hero Saga, which had 2,000 adults giving some results. Gardeners giving their best tips and tricks on helping your garden thrive. The survey found that 67% of those who garden do it due to satisfaction they get from achieving results, and 65% most enjoy watering plants, 36% thrive mowing the grass, 51% love harvesting their own fruit and vegetables, aiming to save money. And some of the hacks that these people gave were using coffee grounds, eggshells, banana peels, ash from the fireplace, and fish heads as fertilizer. Yeah, you can use all those as fertilizer. Apparently, it helps your garden thrive. Also, singing and talking to your plants helps. Don't know about that one, but you're more than welcome to try it. Don't want to be caught doing that though. You can sprinkle some cayenne pepper to ward off pests, and you can sprinkle some cinnamon to ward off those pesky cats. You can also use tea bags on the soil, potato water to water the plants, and baking soda to make soil more alkaline. And then finally, you can use some white vinegar as plant food. So those are just some of the hacks, the best hacks surveyed to help your garden thrive. So let me know if you guys use them and if they work. So thank you all for listening. Let me know your picks for week 4 in college football and week 3 in the NFL. And is your team season over? Maybe not yet, but it definitely will be after this week if you go 0-3. All right, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow the podcast on any platform, any streaming service, literally anywhere you get your podcast at Burgers and Brats, and stay up to date with latest news on Twitter, Instagram, and hopefully just watch live on YouTube or millions.co at Burgers and Brats. And if not, you can go watch the review of that. You can go watch it. It should be up. And then check out the podcast website, burgersbratspodcast.com. Thank you all for listening. Take care. Stay safe.